Hi everyone, just to introduce myself, I'm Alice, I'm the physiotherapist at the Hospice of the Valleys. Although I'm having to work from home at the moment, so I'm not able to see any of my patients, I'm still available to provide advice over the phone if needed. So some of you already know me and have been taught some of these exercises and things, but if you haven't yet met me, you can still give the office a ring if you've got any questions about anything to do with physiotherapy. So breathing, fatigue, exercise, that sort of thing. Things that are impacting on your ability to live your life as you want to. So activity-wise, of not being able to do what you used to be able to do. So give the office a ring if you think that I could give you some advice that might help. The number is 01495 717 277. I can't guarantee how quickly I'll get back to you, just because things are obviously a little bit busy at the moment, but I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. So the first video that I want to do, a lot of you have already seen this exercise, but I find it really helpful. Most of my patients will feedback that it's really useful exercise to help get a little bit of control over their breathing when they're out of breath. So it doesn't matter why you're out of breath. I know there's lots of different conditions we look after, like COPD or lung cancer or idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. So it doesn't really matter what the cause is, but these breathing exercises can just help you get a little bit of control over your breathing to make you feel like you're in control again, just momentarily, whilst it's bad. So when we talk about breathing exercises and breathing and being out of breath, it's really useful to have a think about how out of breath you are. Unless you've thought of it like this before, it can be quite an unusual way to think about your breathing. And you can either think that you're not out of breath or you're out of breath, but actually there's a really big scale of how out of breath you feel. And actually getting to grips with that can really help you manage your condition and your breathlessness. So the first thing I would like just to talk through is the scale of breathlessness. So I tend to talk about a scale of breathing from 0 to 10. So 0, you're sitting down, you're chilling out, and you're not out of breath at all. So that's 0 out of 10. If I was then to ask you to, for example, run up the stairs or go up the street, up the hill, and a lot of you can imagine what a 10 out of 10 is if you talk in terms of that. So you're really gasping for breath, you're feeling quite anxious, you're fearful of getting that next breath in. It's really escalated to something unpleasant. So that's 10. So obviously between 0 and 10, there's lots of different amounts of being out of breath. So a 5 or a 6 is you're doing an activity and you're a little bit out of breath, but you're still able to do the activity, but your work of breathing has increased and you are breathless, but you're not quite frightened, you're not quite fearing that you're taking your last breath. So this exercise is to help you come down a couple of notches on that scale. So as you start moving around the house and your breathlessness starts kicking in, and you can feel yourself going up those numbers, so creeping up 5 or 6 or 7 out of 10, and you're thinking, right, I'm getting out of puff now, but it's not too bad. I want you to stop at that point. And it's at that point when you start noticing that it's increasing that we want to bring it down a peg or two. So we're not going to be able to get rid of your breathlessness when you're doing an activity, but we can keep it under control. So the first exercise, and many of you who know me will laugh at this, is candle breathing. So you have your finger in front of you and you imagine that it's a candle. So with a nice big flame at the top, and we're going to blow on it, okay? So you're blowing on the candle, not to blow out the flame, but to flicker the flame just back and forward. So have a little go at that. Put your finger in front of you. A nice out breath. And just in your mind's eye, picture that flame flickering back and forward. So this exercise, I'm not going to tell you how fast to do it, how many to do. It's completely up to you and what's comfortable for you to do. So you just breathe out at your own pace. Some people find that just 1 or 2 helps take the edge off their breathlessness, but other people find that they need to sit down and do it for a good couple of minutes. There's no maximum you can do with it. It's completely up to you and what feels comfortable. What you'll find is that your concentration comes away from breathlessness. You're not concentrating on how you're feeling out of puff. You're concentrating on that candle instead. And also you're doing a nice out breath. And when you're out of breath, it's the out breath that's most important, because if we can get the stale air out of your lungs, you can get nice fresh oxygen into your lungs. So you really need to focus on breathing out. So the candle exercise, although very simple, can be very effective at bringing your breathing down. As you're doing your breathing exercise, just have a think of that scale of 0 to 10 and think what number you're on. You should find after a few moments, or even a couple of minutes if it's quite severe, your breathing should come down a couple of notches and become more controllable, and that you feel a little bit more comfortable with it. So I hope that's useful. I'll come on again and do another video shortly with some other exercises, but that's the one that the majority of my patients find the most useful, so I thought we'd start there. Keep well everyone, and stay at home. Thank you. Bye.